Mr. Nduka, a man of humble beginnings, had worked tirelessly to build his business empire. He started with nothing, but through perseverance and a sharp business acumen, he rose to become one of the wealthiest men in the region. Nduka was not just wealthy, he was respected for his honesty and his generosity to his community. Yet, in a world where greed knows no bounds, even the most virtuous can become targets. One day, Nduka visited his bank to make a routine transaction. This bank, a well-established institution in Nigeria, had always been his trusted partner. He had deposited a staggering $100 million there, a testament to his successful business ventures. Little did he know that behind the walls of the very bank he trusted, sinister plans were being hatched. The bank's manager, Mr. Ode, had always lived a life of envy. He couldn't stand seeing others prosper while he toiled away for a salary that barely met his needs. Day by day, he watched as Nduka's fortune grew, and with every deposit, the bitterness in his heart festered. It wasn't long before he found allies among some of the bank staff who shared his greed. These staff members, though loyal to their jobs on the surface, were secretly consumed by the same desire for quick wealth. Together, they devised a plot to steal Nduka's entire fortune. But this was no ordinary theft. They knew the bank's security measures were too tight for any internal tampering to go unnoticed. So, they decided to take a far more dangerous route, kidnapping Nduka and his family. The conspiracy. Their plan was simple yet wicked. Nduka had no close family ties in Nigeria, no one who could come forward to claim his fortune if he were gone. If they could kidnap Nduka and force him to reveal his account details, they could empty his bank account without suspicion. It was a perfect plan in their eyes, no heirs, no family witnesses, and the bank staff could cover their tracks from the inside. All they needed was the muscle to carry it out. Enter the kidnappers, a notorious gang of armed robbers known across the region for their ruthlessness. They were feared by all, and they had connections with the bank's manager. For a cut of the fortune, the gang was more than willing to do the dirty work. One evening, after a busy day at work, Nduka was driving home with his wife and two young children. As they neared a quiet stretch of road, a group of masked men ambushed them, forcing their car off the road. The kidnappers swiftly overpowered the family, tying them up and blindfolding them before dragging them into a van. The family was taken to a remote location, far from the city, where they were held hostage. The kidnappers made it clear, if Nduka didn't cooperate, his family would pay the price. With no choice, Nduka agreed to their demands. However, being a clever man, Nduka knew that giving them immediate access to his accounts would not only cost him his fortune but also his life and the lives of his family. Nduka's smart move. Nduka managed to convince the kidnappers that he needed more time to get all the details they required. He explained that transferring such a large amount would raise red flags unless it was done carefully, over several days. The kidnappers, thinking this was just a precaution, agreed. In truth, Nduka was stalling for time, hoping to find a way out of this nightmare. Meanwhile, the police were already on Nduka's trail. His car, abandoned on the side of the road, had been discovered by a passerby, and the authorities were alerted. Soon, a massive manhunt was underway, with police combing the region for any sign of Nduka and his family. Unbeknownst to the kidnappers, the walls were closing in on them. Nduka had left a digital trail when he had transferred a small amount of money to his captors, using a method that allowed the authorities to trace the transaction. The police followed this lead and soon identified the bank manager, Mr. Ode, as a key suspect in the conspiracy. As the days passed, tension grew within the gang. They began to suspect that Nduka was delaying the process on purpose. They threatened him, but Nduka remained calm, knowing that help was coming. On the 5th day of captivity, the police finally tracked the gang's hideout. In a daring midnight raid, they stormed the building, catching the kidnappers off guard. Nduka and his family were rescued, unharmed but shaken by the ordeal. The bank's manager and the conspiring staff members were arrested shortly after. Under interrogation, they confessed to their roles in the plot. It turned out that Mr. Ode had been planning this for months, driven by his envy and greed. The trial. In the weeks that followed, the conspirators were put on trial. The evidence against them was overwhelming: bank records, testimonies, and the traceable digital transactions that Nduka had cleverly used to alert the authorities. The court found them all guilty, and they were sentenced to various prison terms, ranging from 10 to 25 years, without the possibility of parole. The trial sent shockwaves through the community. Many people had trusted the bank, and to learn that its very own staff had conspired to kidnap one of its most respected clients was both shocking and terrifying. The bank faced a major scandal, and its reputation was forever tarnished. Aftermath. Mr. Nduka, though shaken by the experience, emerged stronger. He became a symbol of resilience and hope in his community. Rather than retreat into fear, he used his story to inspire others. He spoke out about the dangers of greed and the importance of integrity in both business and life. His business thrived, and he became a vocal advocate for ethical banking practices, ensuring that no one else would fall victim to such schemes. The conspirators, meanwhile, spent the rest of their days in prison, reflecting on the choices they had made. For them, the allure of quick wealth had led to their downfall, and there was no escape from the consequences of their actions. Moral lessons. 1. Greed and dishonesty can lead to severe consequences. The conspirators, blinded by their desire for easy money, chose a path that ultimately destroyed their lives. In the end, they lost everything, including their freedom. 2. Crime may seem easy, but justice will always prevail. No matter how well planned a crime may seem, there are always consequences. The kidnappers and conspirators thought they had the perfect plan, but they underestimated the power of truth and justice. 3. It's important to be vigilant and protect your finances, even when dealing with trusted institutions. Nduka's story reminds us that even those we trust can sometimes be led astray by greed. Being vigilant and cautious, even when working with reputable banks, is essential to safeguarding one's wealth. 4. Family is more valuable than wealth. Mr. Nduka's willingness to protect his family at all costs, even delaying the kidnappers to save them, shows that no amount of money can replace the love and safety of family. If you enjoyed this African folktale of betrayal and justice, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below. What would you do if you were in Nduka's shoes? Let us know in the comments. And if you want to hear more incredible stories like this one, hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next video. This expanded version dives deeper into Nduka's character, the conspiracy, and the emotional weight of the situation, adding suspense and moral reflections throughout.